Okay, we're talking about chapter 7 today. Thanks everyone who is participating either now or later. I'm super excited to talk about this. Chapter 7, the pain beneath the weight. And this is the topics that are covered in this particular chapter. So let's go ahead and get started. So one of the hardest things to understand when we're struggling with weight is that weight is a symptom. It's not the actual problem. And a lot of us see weight as the problem. And that seems like it's a logical conclusion to come to, but really it's a symptom of something else. So this is a belief that many of us have to protect ourselves from the true meaning of our weight. And if you remember in some of our past chapters, we've talked about how the brain's primary function is to protect itself and to protect you. So a lot of us aren't even aware of what's going on, besides just that we're carrying extra weight. So when I first read this, it actually made me cry because I have been pretty much at war with my body for most of my life. So how often do we feel grateful for all of the things that our body does for us? Most of us answer never. And until recently, that was my answer too. We haven't spent too much time and energy. Most of us have spent too much time and energy judging and criticizing our body. And we've forgotten to notice how hard it works to support us. The reason tapping is so powerful is because it releases the stress that interferes with the body's ability to do what it was designed to heal, to do, and that is to recover and heal. We're on page 126 if you want to follow along. The example that she gives, I think, is really interesting. We all experience the excruciating moment when a paper cut first appears. What we don't often realize is that how quickly the body goes to work to help us heal from it. Even before we shake our hand in pain, the blood vessels leading to the wound tighten to reduce blood flow to the injured area, and platelets gather there to form a plug clotting protein that join to stop the bleeding. For weeks afterwards, the body works around the clock to complete the injury recovery process. And these are the things that it does automatically. We don't even have to think about it. So it's super important that we recognize that our body works for us and not against us, and that it really does love us. Your physical body loves you unconditionally. Even if you judge your body, even if you reject it and don't like it, your body is completely loyal to you. And this is from Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the 4 Agreements. And that's one of the books that's on our list for next books to read. I actually might want to do that one next, but I didn't realize that he talks about the body in his book. Your body, your weight, and your safety. So when we look at the body and the subconscious mind primal instinct to keep us safe, we often overlook the possibility that holding on to extra weight can be one way our body is trying to protect us, like I talked about earlier. That's its primary purpose. So if you're currently carrying extra weight, then your body believes it's not safe to lose weight. That makes complete logical sense to me. I rather than thinking our body is the enemy, it's our protector. And so if you're not losing weight, or if you're having a trouble releasing weight, like I talked about last week, it's the body is fighting for your life. When your body believes that it's safe to lose weight, or better, that it's safe to be thin, then your body will force you to lose the weight, and you'll be working with your body's natural laws instead of violating them. Weight loss will then become automatic, effortless, and inevitable. Wouldn't that be nice? That's my greatest hope, is to get to the point where my body thinks that it's safe to lose weight, to release the weight, that it's safe to be thin, and that the process becomes effortless and automatic. How wonderful that would be. She says that at least 80% of the people she works with who are overweight have emotional or past trauma challenges contributing to their weight gain. Tapping is one of the simplest, most effective tools anyone can use to immediately start seeing results. So, yay. And I'm already, even though I'm not seeing a lot of weight release, I am seeing a lot of changes in my habits. All of a sudden, I want to go to bed earlier and get up earlier and eat better. I noticed that I haven't been eating as much. So already I can feel the changes taking place. I hope you are too. So here's a lot of ways that our body uses our weight to protect us from pain. The first one is relationships. Weight often acts as a physical barrier between us and some other person or group that makes us feel unsafe. So a good thing to ask is there a relationship in my life that I feel I need that I need protection from? She gives the example of one of the people that she worked with, that her name is Carol, and she says for years her job required her to move to a new city every few years. I've had to do that. It's very stressful, and it's really hard. She made an interesting connection. She realized that the closer she moved to her mother, the more weight she gained. So as through these moves, as she got closer to her mother, then she gained more weight. Carol's mother is what she called an energy vampire. Through tapping, she realized that she didn't need to focus on her weight, but instead to tap on her anger towards her mother. So if there's another person in your life that's causing you grief or difficulty, you might want to consider tapping on that person and seeing what comes up. Her body had been using weight as a protective barrier to keep Carol from being drained emotionally by her mother. Also, there's a couple of like extra little areas in the book that are just highlighted. And one of them is when losing weight feels unsafe. So she talks about that. Be sure and read that one too, that it can be scary to lose weight. We're often surprised by what we discover when we dip into that. So when weight protects you from facing important challenges. This is really also, I just found every part of this chapter so revelatory for my own personal life. If it, let's see, where did I want to go? Okay. Take a moment and ask yourself, if I wasn't busy obsessing about my weight, what would I have to face? In other words, we might use obsessing about how much we weigh, how we look, all of these other things to avoid tackling what's really bothering us. What emotion do I feel when I think about that part of my life? Feel free to write them down and then rate the intensity on a scale of 0 to 10. Try beginning your tapping with the setup statement. Even though I'm scared to face this, I love and accept myself, and I am safe. Repeat that 3 times. So we're going to go ahead and tap on it. This is on page 129, and I'm not showing up in the video, so I'm just going to tell you where to tap. So start on your karate chop point on the side of your hand. Even though I'm scared to face this, I love and accept myself, and I am safe. Even though I have fear when I think about what I'm facing, I love and accept myself, and I am safe. Even though I am scared to face this, I love and accept myself, and I am safe. Okay, we've done that 3 times. So now we're going to start with the eyebrow point. This thing I don't want to face. Side of eye, I don't feel like I can handle it. Under the eye, I would be overwhelmed. Under the nose, so I ignore it. Chin, by blaming my body. Collarbone, this area in my life, under the arm, that I don't want to see. Top of the head, it feels like too much. So when the intensity of the initial tapping target is 5 or lower, then we can move on to the positive. So take a minute, check in with yourself. I didn't ask you to do that in the beginning, but yeah, hopefully by now you know to do that, to rate your emotion intensity on a scale of 0 to 10. So let's keep going with the positive. Eyebrow, I have everything within me now. Side of eye, to address this area in my life with love. Under the eye, I don't need to find the solution. Under the nose, I just need to seek the first step. Under the chin, I take this one step at a time. collarbone. It is safe for me to face these emotions. Under the arm, I have patience with the process. Top of head, and faith in my abilities. Now take a deep breath. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And how does it feel? Measure the intensity again and continue tapping until you experience relief. So hopefully, as we've gone through this book, we can see that we can tap on almost anything. In fact, I belong to a subscription service that sends me texts throughout the day about my my astrology, and it is specific to me and the things and my natal chart. So sometimes when I get these messages, not always, but sometimes I get them, and it makes me bristle. I have an emotion towards it. So I realized this week I could tap on my text messages and kind of clear any resistance to whatever is going on out of my body, and be more aligned with what is being said. I'm trying to look at it now to see which one gave me grief, but I can't find it right now. But I started tapping on it. In fact, I used the statement in the text as a target statement. So, and then I tapped on whatever came to mind. So you can use this for just about anything. Okay, let's go on. The next one is that we can use weight as a form of self-punishment. I love this picture of sitting on a tree branch and cutting it off and sitting the wrong way so that we're cutting it off and we're the one that's going to fall. And often we sabotage ourselves like this a lot. Sometimes we find that we're we're binging and holding on to weight in order to punish ourselves. Difficult decisions we made in our lives can keep us from showing up when the world needs what we can give it. And we may look back and wish we had made a different choice, but until we can see that we're doing the best in the moment, we remain stuck in the past, unable to evolve beyond it. So the example that she gives in her book is a woman who had an abortion, and she felt so guilty about it later in her life that she couldn't move past it. She didn't feel worthy to do anything. And this can be all kinds of decisions. Maybe we moved to a place we know we shouldn't have moved, or maybe we got a divorce and we're regretting it now, or maybe we took a job and we didn't we knew we really shouldn't, and now we're suffering because the consequences proved that we were right. It could be anything, big or small, that we get stuck, and we get stuck in our own way, where we're standing in our own way, because we just can't move past a decision that we've made in our lives. One thing that we have to remember is that you can't go back and change a lot of things, but you can move past them. And so we need to give ourselves grace in order to be able to do that. Whether, and Jessica says this on page 132, whether it's an abortion or another difficult decision we have made in our lives, the world needs us to forgive ourselves. And I thought how true that is, that when we hold ourselves hostage, we're also not able to step in and help others that where we could help them. We may look back and wish we'd made a different choice, but until we can see that we were doing our best in the moment, we remain stuck in the past, unable to evolve beyond it. How many women are not lighting up the world because of the pain they feel from a past event? Whatever issue or memories may be holding you back and causing your body to seek extra weight for protection, I urge you to speak your secret and tap on it. Take a moment now to ask yourself, when am I using weight to protect what am I using weight to protect myself from? And write down your answer on a piece of paper if you'd like. Then use these as your tapping scripts so that you can help yourself to heal from these past choices and mistakes. I have a lot of guilt sometimes because I was raised in an abusive home and I didn't have a good example for my own children, and where I didn't abuse my kids in the way that I was abused by, being hit and punished severely and, those kinds of things. I yelled at them a lot and I said terrible things. And I really feel bad about it. I have apologized to my kids profusely. And to her credit, my oldest daughter has said to me many times, Mom, you did the best with what you knew at the time. And now that you know better, you do better. And that's the best thing that you can do for all of us. And I just thought that was the sweetest thing for her to say to me, that it was a pure form of forgiveness. And so we may not have somebody else who we can ask for forgiveness from, but we can forgive ourselves for past choices. So let's go on. We achieve inner health only through forgiveness, and the forgiveness not only of others, but also ourselves. So yeah, forgiveness of self is so important. I mean, we do need to forgive to forgive other people, but I think a lot of people forget to forgive themselves. So how do we move from self-punishment to self-acceptance? So many women take a secret pride in how much they punish themselves over things both big and small, because they don't feel like they deserve happiness. They feel justified in their cruelty towards themselves. Their bodies then respond by holding on to weight, hoping to somehow stay safe in the harsh internal environment they have created. Wow. Let me read that again. Their bodies respond by holding on to weight, hoping to somehow stay safe inside the harsh internal environment they have created. So sometimes our body is actually holding on to weight to stay safe from ourselves. That's pretty amazing. Jessica says, in middle school, after being caught cheating on a math test, I went to my dad and asked what my punishment was. I remember feeling like I wanted and needed to be punished. So I was stunned when he said there would be no punishment. Confused, I asked him why not. And he replied, because I know how hard you are on yourself. Nothing I could do could punish you the way that you punish yourself. I was blessed with incredibly kind parents who weren't happy with me cheating on a math test, but who also wanted me to be able to love myself. I don't know where I picked up the habit of self-punishment, but even when I was a preteen, my parents recognized it. Somewhere, I picked up the belief that I wasn't good enough. And I thought that if I punished myself enough, maybe I would be forgiven by a man with a white beard in the sky. I believed that punishing myself and being hard on myself made me a good person. So we have to be careful. There are some tricky situations around guilt and shame, and healthy guilt and shame moves us to do better. And when our guilt or shame is unhealthy, then it causes this form of self-punishment, where we feel like we have to pay a price to do it, to be forgiven, when really the only price that we need to pay is change behavior, is to do better, to say, well, I made a mistake, next time I'll do this. So let's do a little bit of tapping now on forgiving ourselves. So karate, first scale 0 to 10. When you pick an event in your life you feel like you needed to punish yourself for, rate its emotional intensity on a scale of 0 to 10, and then keep that in mind as we tap. So karate chop point, even though I feel like I should punish myself, I love and accept and forgive myself. Even though I feel I should punish myself, and you could include 4, whatever it is, I love and accept and forgive myself. Even though I feel I should punish myself, I love and accept and forgive myself. Okay, eyebrow. This thing that happened, side of eye, I feel so ashamed. Under the eye, I can't change what happened. Under the nose, it all feels so hopeless. Chin, so instead I punish myself. Collarbone, somewhere I learned. Under the arm, in order to be good, I need to punish myself. Top of head, but no good is coming from the self-punishment. Okay, stop. And when your intensity, when your tapping target is 5 or lower, then we can move on to the positive. So let's do that now. If you have, if you're still feeling intense emotions over this, be sure and go back and do this again and follow it to its conclusion. But let's start with the eyebrow. I can only face darkness with light. I love that. I can only face darkness with light. Side of eye, I choose to bring a new light into this situation. Under the eye, what happened isn't a reflection of who I am. Under the nose, I express who I really am right now by choosing love and compassion. Chin, I was doing the best I could at the time. Collarbone, I have learned so much since then, and I choose a new path. Under the arm, I love, accept, and forgive myself. Top of head, my future is bright. Okay, take a deep breath. And now check back in and see how you feel. Measure your intensity and continue tapping until you experience relief. So let's continue on. When weight is your best excuse. When we've been struggling with weight for years on end, it can become our best excuse for not pursuing our dreams or facing our fears. How many times have we said, I can't do whatever, I can't be whatever because of this weight? Sometimes we are our biggest stumbling block. She says, and we're on page 134, how you complete the sentence gives you insight into what's going on below the surface that's causing you to hold on to the weight. In her 40s and 2 years after her divorce, Michelle insisted that she couldn't date until she lost weight. She would look at herself in the mirror and think, who would want to love this? She resented her body because she felt like it stopped her from the one thing she longed to have in her life, romance. Knowing that the body is always protecting us, I asked her to imagine losing the weight and then walking into a restaurant and sitting across from a potential partner. How does that image make you feel? I asked. She was surprised to realize how panicked she felt by the thought of dating. Opening herself up to love and romance might mean reliving the pain she had experienced with her ex-husband, and that terrified her. We began tapping on her fear while focusing on memories from her marriage that still triggered her. After the session, and before she ever lost a pound, Michelle began dating successfully. She realized that it hadn't been her weight that was stopping her, but her fear. So sometimes it's not the weight that is holding us back. It's the fear that we have that's behind it. This goes back to the beginning of the chapter where she talks about weight is a symptom. It's not the cause. So it's important that we look at what are we excusing ourselves from doing because we're holding on to excess weight. I think there's another quote coming up. Yep. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing, and you'll never be criticized. It's really important that we realize that by doing nothing, saying nothing, and being nothing, that it's not keeping us safe. It's actually keeping us from succeeding. To be our authentic selves, we eventually have to rock the boat. That's true. Eventually you've got to rock the boat. As we'll see next, what often happens is that our fear of shining overshadows all else and threatens to rob us of the happiness, success, and love that we so deserve. So the next part is, why isn't it safe for you to shine? What if it wasn't about your weight at all, but something else? So many women are so afraid to shine that they become desperate to deny their own potential and downplay their accomplishments. They're trying so hard to play so small that they almost force themselves to use their weight to hide behind. I suspect this is an issue with me. Like I said before, we moved around a lot. And every time I went to a new neighborhood, a new church, all of those things, I felt myself playing smaller and smaller because I have the ability to do a lot of things, a lot of different things. Without sounding too bragging or whatever, I can make a lot of things. And that's not because I'm extra talented than everyone else necessarily. But it's actually in my natal chart. I'm a 28-degree Taurus, which means I am a grandmaster manifester. Abundance is my middle name, and I can pretty much make something out of nothing. And I can cook, I can sew, I can do interior decorating, I can make flower arrangements. There are all kinds of different things. And it got to the point where I started telling people, I really just, in that effort to be small and to play small, really, I only have one talent. And that is, I can make whatever I can see. If you can show me a picture of it, I can make it. And I felt like that made me less threatening. But the comments still came, and they were things like, is there anything you can't do? Or you do that too? So and it became an issue because I never stayed in one place long enough for people to fully become familiar with me and who I was. It was more based on what I did. So I ended up hiding like any of my talents. And the thing that was so unnerving to me is that when I got these backhanded compliments, or even just straight up things like, oh, you know, I can't believe you do that too. Or is there anything you don't do? When I would get these comments made to me, I just felt embarrassed and humiliated, and it was hard to be me. So but one of the things about me is I love to teach. So I was willing to show anyone how to do the things that I could do, the tips and tricks I've learned, the ways that I figured out how to do this or that. And I loved sharing, but I never spent time in one place long enough to really be accepted for who I was. So yeah, shining was not a big thing for me, or it was a big thing, whichever way you end up looking at it. I don't have that problem anymore. Like right now, at this point in my life, I realize that if someone feels intimidated by me, it's not about me, it's about them. So one of the things that she has in her book, and it's on page 138, I put just a little bit of it in because I was kind of too lazy to write it all out. But Marianne Williamson has this quote, and it's very famous. When it comes to our fear of shining, Marianne Williamson's often quoted passage from Return to Love says it best. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make magnificent the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And I find that so refreshing and so beautiful because everybody, every single one of us has something to contribute to the world. And mine may not be the same as someone else's, and yours may not be the same as mine, but together we all fit beautifully, like a tapestry or a puzzle. So let's go on. Stop waiting for life to begin. Whatever you're afraid to do, but really want to do, is exactly what you need to do. I love this. Whatever you're afraid to do, but you really want to do, is exactly what you need to do. So there's a story in here, I'm not going to read it, about a woman named Lee who wanted to open a wellness center. She hadn't been able to motivate herself to get going, and so you can read about that here. See, she said on page 139, several weeks after the class ended, Lee shared with me, I'm down 11 pounds and have definitely stepped into my shine. I'm watching my body and behaviors change daily. I no longer emotionally eat on a daily basis, and I love and embrace exercise. I can't walk by a mirror without insulting myself, and all really big things for me. Oh, I can walk by a mirror without insulting myself. That makes more sense. All really big things for me. Every day, I still continue to learn and evolve. And that's the fun part. I know I get better every day. Tapping has been a real game changer. And I still do the meditations. I love them. So when I was going through this, I thought about kind of where I've been in this journey. I've been a little bit resistant towards it. It's been harder than I thought. And if you remember, when I first started this, I said, choose your hard. Dieting's hard, exercise is hard, this is hard. And I have been resisting it. I have done my best to tap every day, but I haven't really fully committed to it because something will come up. And I was like, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do it later. And honestly, if you're going to do a new habit, you have to make time for it. So I put it in my phone. I set an alarm, and that's my tapping. I put a ringtone to it specific to that. So when I hear that ringtone, that means it's time to tap, no matter what I'm doing. And I've been really good at it this week, not 100% still, but I continue to try every day. So that is the most important thing, is that you keep trying and that you keep doing it. And that you commit to yourself. One of the text messages that I got in the last week or so talked about loving myself enough to do this. And really, that hit home to me, because I do love myself enough to want to do this. Why I started this book club to begin with. And I wanted to bring you guys along on the journey, but I also want you to see the vulnerable parts of me that I'm not perfect at it, but I keep trying, and you should keep trying too. So here we go. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. So we're in Leo season right now, and guess what? That's the sign of courage. So if you want to tap into the natural energy that's going on right now of courage, this is a good time to do that. Expand your life by expanding your courage. You can do it. I know you can. I can do it, and we can do it together. So stepping into your best self and your biggest dreams. Here's a secret on how to use tapping in your everyday life. I loved this. I love these little, like, here's a secret. If somebody says, here's a secret to something, or here's a tip, or here is how you work around this, I'm all over that. That speaks to me. So here's what Jessica says, page 140. People often ask me how I incorporate tapping into my daily life. And here is an exercise I do every night. First, I visualize what I want most. Visualize what you most desire, beginning by focusing on just one thing. It might be a desire to feel strong, confident in your body, or to share a gift or talent, or to speak up, or to be in a more loving relationship. And magnify that image in your mind. Breathe deeply and really feel what it feels like to be in that space. Then ask yourself, does anything feel uncomfortable about this image? Can I feel comfortable in my body when I see this image in my mind? I tried it, and guess what? I went, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And yeah, so it does really work. If you feel your stomach or shoulders clench, for example, or you find yourself going, yeah, then that's an indication that this image is creating stress in your body. Continue breathing deeply while tapping through the points and focusing on the image. If any specific fear or other negative emotion or self-talk comes up, keep tapping through the points while you visualize what you desire, and keep doing this until you can visualize the desire while feeling calm and congruent in your body. So when I tried this, it took a minute for me to get to the point where I could calm down and breathe, because that's my go-to stress response. And I've done it, I can't tell you for how long, but I hold my breath, or my breathing gets really shallow. That's where I know that I'm having a stress response, is because my breathing gets wonky. So yeah, the first thing you probably want to do is to figure out what your stress response is, and so you recognize it when it comes up. She says, this is an incredibly powerful exercise to use on a regular basis. You'll find that your dreams will continue to expand as your comfort zone grows. So if you need to get out of your comfort zone, this is a great secret to doing that. Visualize it and then see how you respond, and then tap. Being afraid, overwhelmed, and more, it's all normal. When we start looking at how the weight has been keeping us safe, how we can release that need and then begin to let ourselves shine, we may feel a hint of excitement. Often, though, we're quickly overcome by fear. It's normal to feel afraid and overwhelmed. The key is to learn from the feelings, but not controlled by them. That's where tapping comes in. Tapping on our emotions doesn't mean we'll never feel fear or other negative emotions again. Tapping is a tool to help us maneuver through emotions so we can move forward in spite of the normal and natural emotional resistance we experience. So I have to say something here. Having fear, anxiety, are not necessarily always bad. Sometimes those things are necessary. In fact, they are necessary to move us. When we get fear or anxiety, it's actually the same. I'm trying to think of how to say this so that it's correct. It's the same chemical response as excitement. And I've actually done some emotional release by going on a roller coaster and screaming my head off, because it's the same thing. It's an emotional response and release for fear, but it's also excitement. So if we tap into that and realize that we're having this reaction, fear and anxiety and excitement can all feel the same. And we just need to recognize which way it is. And sometimes we just have to continue to move through it. And tapping is a really good way to do that. So don't let the fear stop you. That's actually a sign that you're moving in the right direction. If you feel fearful about it, it actually might be excitement. So be aware of that. So she says on page 141, at times when we look at how to let ourselves shine, part of feeling overwhelmed and afraid may come from not knowing what we're meant to do, or not knowing how to realize our dreams. That's also normal. By tapping on these emotions, we can reconnect with our intuition And through that, get clearer on our answer to these questions. So when you think about your dream, how overwhelmed do you feel? Are there any other emotions or negative beliefs that grab your attention? Do you feel any tension in your body? Use the answer to this question to help you be specific. So let's do some tapping on it now. So karate chop. Even though I feel overwhelmed by this dream, I love and accept myself. Even though I feel overwhelmed by this dream, I love and accept myself. Even though I feel overwhelmed by this dream, I love and accept myself. Eyebrow. I feel so overwhelmed. Side of eye. There's so much to do. Under eye. I don't even know where to start. Under nose. What if I can't do this? Chin. What if I make a mistake? Collarbone. What if something goes wrong? Underarm. All these fears around pursuing this dream. Top of head. I give them a voice now. I love that Jessica does that. Give it a voice. That's really critical to overcoming your negative emotions. Give them a voice. When the intensity of your initial tapping is 5 or lower, you can move on to the positive. So let's continue. Eyebrow. Maybe I don't need to know every answer. Side of eye. Maybe I don't need to know exactly how I'll get there. Under the eye. I focus on the single step ahead of me. Under the nose, it's safe to take this step. Chin, and trust that the answer will appear. Collarbone, I can enjoy this process. Under the arm, it feels so good to take this step forward. Top of head, it's safe for me to step up. Now take a deep breath. Check in with how you feel and measure the intensity again and continue tapping until you experience relief. So, as you tap through this, think about what action can you take right now towards a dream. Maybe it's simply writing an email or making a phone call. Trust your intuition to take a step forward, no matter how small the step may be. So one of the things that I'm going to remind you about in the text messages this week is to take a small step. We're going to do it, okay? Continuing to the last section. The time between now and later is called life. Don't miss it. A lot of times we have goals and want to reach our dreams, but it's never a reason not to enjoy the present moment. Ultimately, this is a journey, not a result that brings the most happiness. So enjoy the journey. We don't get there overnight. And even day to day, sometimes we have to, it's months that we have to look back to see, wow, I've really come a long way. So it's time right this second to stop and smell the roses. Notice the parts of your body that are beautiful. What is it that you love about yourself right now? Living a fabulous life means recognizing how fabulous you are and how fabulous your life is right now. Don't wait to enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, even enjoying food. It's okay to enjoy food. You don't have to be afraid of it or scared of it. You want that thing, have it. It's not about being deprived. So until next week, I hope that you'll start tapping on a lot of the things on this chapter. I know I will. Um, this one hit me hard. All of them in this part two have, but this one in particular hit me hard. So let's keep tapping, and